The foldable trend is in full force, and pretty much since the beginning, Samsung has been leading the pack. And while that hasn't changed, OnePlus obviously has plans to challenge that fact. After a few weeks with the OnePlus Open, I gotta say, they're onto something. While I may be a little late to the game with the OnePlus Open, I heard enough people anoint the Open as phone of the year for 2023, so I knew I had to give it a spin. I've spent a good deal of time with many of the foldables of years past, so I wanted to see what is so special about the Open. The hardware itself is breathtaking. After experiencing the thin and narrow front display on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold series, not to mention its chunky brick-like quality in the pocket, the OnePlus Open is a refreshing change of pace. Not only does it feel lighter and definitely more svelte, which helps when it's stowed away in the pocket, the front of the device actually looks like a pretty standard smartphone display, which is to say it doesn't make any trade-offs the way other foldables have. You get what you expect out of the standard candy bar phone, and it happens to fold out into a nice tablet-style device. It's the best of both worlds. Now, the common complaint of visible creases on the inside display of other foldables is, at least here, mostly a non-issue. Is there a fold crease to be spotted? Yes, there is, but it's incredibly muted by comparison with others that I've seen anyways. I believe it's helped by the fact that the display itself doesn't exhibit the same kind of squishy quality that some competitors have shown. That seems to elevate the perception that this is a higher quality display. And all this says nothing about the sharpness of the display itself, an LTPO panel that's 2800 nits bright and easy on the eyes in the sunlight. Now, design-wise, OnePlus really nailed the hinge. It's beautiful, slick, and fluid. Some competing foldables have hinges that are too stiff to easily open, which usually has me concerned I might actually drop the device while trying to get to the inside. But that same rigidness then comes in handy for propping the device open to varying degrees. The OnePlus Open needs around 45 degrees to keep from snapping shut. And in my time, I think that's perfectly balanced. It opens easily in the hand, stays propped open enough to be very usable in that form for things like watching videos. Now, out of the box, I didn't care so much for the pleather casing on the back, but I must admit, over time, it really grew on me. It's not gaudy, thankfully, and it provides a strong bit of tackiness that helps keep this pricey phone in the hand and not falling to the ground. The camera bump is, well, it's a beast, a gigantic circular protrusion, but I think OnePlus took the right approach by slimming the rest of the phone where it could, which, yes, accentuates the camera bump, but the svelte and lightweight quality of this foldable is really one of its strongest attributes, so it was the right trade-off. And speaking of the cameras, I was mostly happy with the output of the hardware. Image quality is commendable for images with little motion, but I noticed more than a few times that the shutter speed was too slow for moving objects. Also, I wouldn't opt for the portrait mode unless I'm okay with a shot being pretty much unusable if the system gets it wrong. It doesn't save the untreated version if you shoot with portrait, and that ruined a shot I loved otherwise. My opinion on OnePlus cameras still stands. It's so much better than it ever was, but it still doesn't hold a candle to my trusty Pixel camera. Now, inside the device is the capable Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 with 16 gigs of RAM, more than plenty for anything I want to do with a smartphone, and 512 gigs of storage. Games, of course, performed as expected, which was really good. Multitasking between apps, and especially on the inside display, was pretty enjoyable. This version of Oxygen OS includes handy features like app grouping, which is nice. This isn't a foldable that trades off high-end essentials for the unique form factor. Well, at least not mostly, because there are a few trade-offs, all of which are a big deal for a $1,700 device. First, the OnePlus Open is IPX4 rated, where others in this space are IPX8 rated. This means that you want to be super sure the Open doesn't receive more than a splash of water here or there, because it isn't rated for more than that. Again, a $1,700 phone better be durable long-term, and while it isn't a deal breaker, it is concerning. Second, no wireless charging. Now, I'll be completely honest, I've often seen wireless charging as a nice to have, but not a must-have feature. And I know many would disagree with me there. But again, with the OnePlus Open's high price tag, this feels like a feature that buyers of this category have come to expect. And OnePlus does some incredible things with wireless charging on its other devices. Not having it here feels like a big missed opportunity. So overall, OnePlus surprised me out of the gate with its entrance into the foldable category. I assumed the complexity of this new kind of technology technology would result in a halfway there effort that showed promise for future attempts. Instead, OnePlus has produced a foldable that sits near the top of the best ones I've used to date. A pretty impressive feat as they go toe-to-toe with the gargantuan Samsung, who have been doing foldables now for 5 solid years. But price is still a big factor. $1,700 is really only $100 less than Samsung's much more experienced Z Fold 5. At the same time, I give OnePlus a lot of credit for bringing the cost to consumers lower than they've come to expect so far, and I'm very excited to see the evolution of the OnePlus Open whenever that may come. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Howell. Do all the YouTubey things like liking and subscribing. It really helps me out. I'll see you on my next review coming up soon.